Hello and welcome back to the DoneDeal YouTube channel. I'm David OC and today we're reviewing the Mercedes GLB. Now naturally in Mercedes world that B letter is kind of one that's not really spoken about because the B class originally wasn't exactly one of their finest cars. However, the GLB is a fantastic car. It sits in the market between the GLA and of course the GLC. However, in my opinion, it's better than both of them for one key reason, which we'll talk about a little bit later in the review. Now, it also rivals cars like the SEAT Terraco and the Skoda Kodiaq. Now, brand-wise, it's far superior, obviously having that Mercedes badge. However, functionality-wise, it's very similar. And believe it or not, pricing-wise, as it's very well priced. Prices start at about 45,000 euros, and actually you don't have to spec it with all that much spec to get one that you would actually like to drive. Now, if you'd like to see GLBs for sale in Ireland right now from some of our trusted dealer network around the country, hit the link up there and hopefully you'll find the perfect car for you. Let's begin with the rear because that is the party piece of the GLB. So first of all, as standard, electric tailgate, which is a really nice feature. You've got a little bit of metal protection there so you're not scratching your bumper when you're hauling things in. No load lip. The boot is 770 litres if you fill it up to the roof. Now, if you're willing to spend 1,400 euros, you're going to put this car in a whole new league, because then you will get the 7 seats option. And that is why I love the GLB, because generally speaking, SUVs are just elevated estate cars and they don't really serve any extra function other than being able to cruise over potholes a little bit easier. However, the GLB, like the Terraco, like the Kodiaq, has the option for 7 seats, and that is something that's not available in the GLC, it's not available in the GLA, and that's what makes it fantastic. Now, how spacious are they? We'll talk about a little bit more in the rest of the review. Other features that the boot has is a small bit of storage under there, not a whole lot. In fact, when you do put these seats up, it eats into the space quite substantially. In fact, you're gonna not really get much in there at all. Other thing that it does do is fitting those seats will eat up about 70 litres. So it goes from 770 litres to 700 litres. It gets very technical and I understand it's very hard to relate to that. But what I will say is I can hop in pretty comfortably. And if I can find the button, I'll actually fit in it pretty good. Okay, if you could let me out now, that would be great, because there's no release in here. Never mind, we'll just continue filming back here. So the rear, well, the back of the GLB, I'm not gonna lie, there's not tremendous amounts of space. I wouldn't want to be going from Belfast to Dublin. However, for toddlers, for young kids, there's plenty of room. And actually there's some nice touches like a USB-C port over here, so you can keep that tablet charged and keep them occupied on long journeys. Other than that, it's in here where the magic happens, and it is quite a bit of a squeeze to get out as the seats fold forward. However, one really nice feature about these seats is they will actually slide back and forth like that. And if I sit into it, I'm not doing this very elegantly, there's loads of knee room, and because it's an SUV, loads of headspace. There's a bit of storage here, there's a bit more door card storage there, and overall back here it's really nice. However, bit of a tight squeeze in there for the toddlers. Now, the interior of the GLB. So despite it being an SUV, it is pretty easy to climb into, even as a short person like myself, and that's because it's not that high off the road. First impressions of the driving position, fantastic. Seats are really comfortable. I like how my feet are going down almost like I'm in a Defender. This aluminium strip also kind of reminds me of Defender, which is a good thing because it's a more refined version. And as I said, seats are comfortable. However, they are manual, which again, it doesn't really bother me. However, in a Mercedes, you'd probably expect electronic seats. Now, in front of me here, we've got 2 screens. However, they're a little bit small, and that's because with Mercedes, you have to pay a little bit extra for the Advantage package, which gives you the wide screen, the folding mirrors, and reversing parking sensors. So now let's take a look at a little bit of the storage. Glove box is nice and spacious. You've got a little bit more storage in here. It's actually quite deep with a USB-C port. You've got 2 drink holders here with a little bit of storage under there. Big door bins, and overall it's plenty good when it comes to storage. Now the infotainment system, so I've already bickered slightly about the smaller screens, but leaving that aside, it's very intuitive. So it is touchscreen, but you've also got this trackpad, which is very similar to a trackpad on any laptop, let's say. As you scroll across, it works pretty perfectly, and actually this one has the upgraded smartphone connectivity, which is definitely an extra worth getting. I think it's 600 or 700 euros, but tick that box because Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, they're tough to beat. Now, digital dash in front of you here, so you've got a digital display of your speed, your revs, and any other information that you might need. And all in all, it's really premium. You've also got heated seats, which, oh, just the dream. Absolutely adore heated seats, particularly with leather. And that's another thing. With Mercedes now, you have to pay to change the leather from black. So it comes from factory with black leather. And if you want to go cream or white or whatever color you specify, you've got to pay a little bit extra. In fact, I'd actually go black. I think it would go really, really well in here.
What can I do for you?
And there's Hey Mercedes. I'm not sure if you heard that. I didn't say anything, but whilst you're there, I would like to get, I'd like to get Hi Mercedes. Let's try that once more. Hey Mercedes.
What can I do for you?
I'm hungry.
Can you say that again, please?
I am hungry.
What do you want to do?
Okay. Actually works quite well in the E-Class, but it seems a little bit fiddly in here. Must be the Irish accent. Now, for my favourite part of every review, actually driving the car. And I love this in the Mercedes. Basically, you pop it down into gear and off you go. So, to drive, naturally, it's got that elevated feel of an SUV, and the chances are, if that's what you're after, you're really going to like this, because you do sit very upright, and obviously you can lift the seat the whole way up, but even at its lowest form, you still feel quite elevated. Now, as you drive along, the suspension is quite soft. We're about to hit a speed bump. Now, they are very abrupt speed bumps, and it still kind of floats over them. The steering is very light. It does sway from side to side ever so slightly as you turn, but that's kind of naturally expected with an SUV-esque car. Other than that, you've got a few different engines options. This has a 2-litre diesel engine, great engine, 116 brake horsepower. Now you would think that's underpowered, however there's plenty of torque, so as you pull off, it will raise your eyebrows because it is actually surprisingly powerful for 116 brake horsepower. Plenty of torque, basically. Gearbox, 8-speed gearbox, which is very efficient then once you get on the motorways. And overall, as a driving machine, it does feel very nice. Right now, we're somewhere where there's a lot of speed bumps. However, if this a little bit of a rough patch, you can see the suspension's quite forgiving. But other than that, it's got a few nice creature comforts. Your cruise control here on the right hand side. You've got flappy paddles. You don't really need them in an SUV. Maybe if you got the GLB 35, the 300 horsepower version, but not in this diesel. You've got speed sign recognition. I love that in the Mercedes. So it'll tell you what the speed limit is where you are, which is, it's just a nice feature, because often we'll be driving and we'll be thinking, what speed should I be going? And you don't know, and you're looking for signs, but it's always there on the left-hand corner. And other than that, that is the GLB to drive. A fantastic driving package. You can see your kids in the rearview mirror. And yeah, all in all, it's a nice car to drive. Like always, we have to disclaim some of the things we love and some of the things that we're not the biggest fans of on each car. And number one, on our least favorite things about the Mercedes GLB, is that the lights are already condensating. Now what that is effectively, this can no longer be built in glass for safety and regulation reasons. Obviously it makes sense. You don't want to be hit head on by glass, so this is now plastic. and the drainage and airflow underneath, for whatever reason, is making it condensate. Number 2, let me paint you a scenario. You're driving home late at night after a long day working, and for some sad reason you get a puncture. No problem, you'll just open this up and there's no spare wheel. Now, this is very common, but I'm just not a big fan of it. And I know that Mercedes has come with 4 years roadside assistance, so it's probably not going to be an issue. However, even just sitting there waiting for a recovery truck can be a little bit of a nuisance. And number 3 is a case of, it looks good from far, but it's far from good. So at a distance, front grille looks good, but actually if you go up in detail, these are filled in here, it's fake intakes there, and I'm not so sure how I feel about this kind of badge there. Just, it's a bit filled in for me. Negative things aside, it's actually a fantastic car, and here are 3 of my favourite things about the Mercedes GLB. And number 1 is the side profile. I think overall it's a really nice car. It just looks fantastic. If you get it in the AMG line, it looks really sporty. I don't know how that's possible, but it does. It's a sporty SUV. But also it reminds me of the original Mercedes GL that came out in 2006, and I was a big fan of that one. Next up is these turbine air vents. I just think they look really, really cool, particularly across the dash here. And last, but most certainly not least, is that every single Mercedes that leaves the dealership comes with 2 years unlimited mileage warranty, 3 years free servicing, and 4 years roadside assistance. And that's the benefit of buying from a trusted dealer. Well, there you have it. That is DoneDeal's review of the, I can't say the word because the infotainment system will speak to me. But that is our review of the GLB, a fantastic car. It looks great. It's got 7 seats, it's practical. It's very well priced against the competitors. If you'd like to see the review of the Kodiaq or of course of the Terraco, hit the link up above. But yeah, as I said, very well priced, as prices do start at 45,000, and this is only spec to 47,000 euros. And you're getting a lot of bang for your buck there. You're getting the premium badge. And what's more is, with a little bit more money, things like the Advantage pack with the big screens, maybe the black pack here, the AMG line, it will look really, really well. I hope you've enjoyed the review. At DoneDeal, we're absolutely working our hardest to make sure to create no uncertainty when buying a new car. We want to make it the easiest process possible. So definitely head over to DoneDeal, check out our massive network of trusted dealers around the country. But for now, that's all from me. We'll see you in the next one.